So again, thank you for joining us for the TANF Jobs 2026-2027 Invoice Updates Session 2. So we'll go ahead and get started. If you do have a question during, you can raise your hand or come off mute, or you can always put it in the chat. So first, we'll go over our meeting agenda. Today, we will be covering changes and in addition to the invoice template. We will give definitions to the new addition and changes. We will review common errors when completing the template, and we will answer any pertinent questions that you have regarding this. So let's dive right in. Updates to the 2026-2027 invoice template for our jobs contractors. A new column was added in the jobs activity description. A new definition replaces the previously titled number of services provided column. The support services, housing, and utilities were removed from the invoice, and the rest of the invoice remains unchanged and should be completed following the previous year's guidelines. That's the 25-26 guidelines. So here is the jobs activity description of the new invoice template. And you can see that there were a couple additions to it and a couple minor changes. So first one is the number of service encounters provided. We've changed the previously titled number of services provided. The new name is the number of service encounters provided. Please note this is the same information as you were previously providing for number of services provided. There are no changes to the definition. So the number of service encounters provided means meaningful contact by the contractor with the jobs participant to engage in jobs activities conducted by a contractor for at least 1/2 hour in a given month, in any given month. ODHS referrals and non-contact activities such as mailers, voicemails, or texts do not constitute a client being served under this. And as you can see, it's highlighted there, the number of service encounters provided. It just replaces that the previous definition of number of services provided. All right. Next section is the number of unique individuals served. This new column is to provide additional information that will help us in analysis and validation of the information received through the invoice. The number of unique individuals served means the number of unique or unduplicated individuals that engaged in at least 30 minutes of a contracted service in any given month. Please note that it is unique individuals per service. That means if one individual receives life skills and child services, for instance, they would be counted as one in both services. So one individual, but you would put one in life skills and one in child services. Are there any questions regarding that? I believe we went over it in the last contractor quarterly, but this is the official guidelines that we're setting forth. Okay. So with no questions, that column is right next to the number of service encounters provided. And again, number of unique individuals served. Definitions. Both definitions that I previously read can be found in the invoice template under the definitions tab. So if you just look at the bottom, there's a definitions tab, and I've highlighted both of those there. So you can take a look there and definitely see what the definitions are. Okay. The year-to-date page or year-to-date summary is what it's called on the invoice itself. The year-to-date page was updated with the number of unique individuals served as well, which will keep a running tally of the totals for the state fiscal year. So just as it does, it pulls the information from each individual page. It will actually pull it over for number of unique individuals served as well. Okay, moving forward. Now let's go over some common errors that we see in invoicing. And typically, if an error is found or something needs to be corrected, it can cause a delay in payment, which is not something that anybody would like to do or like to have happen. So we'll go over some of those common errors to prevent that and make a smooth transition through the process to get our contractors invoiced and paid. So first one are typically is rounding errors. So with the rounding errors, please enter the costs directly into each section on the invoice. Entering formulas in there can lead to rounding errors that will cause an invoice to be returned for correction. A lot of times you have a sum or total, and when it actually it sums up prior to rounding. So if it rounds on the invoice, it may be different in the total, and that causes a lot of rounding errors. So if you do use Excel spreadsheets to help get the numbers for each of those values, just be sure that you manually input the numbers onto the invoice template to prevent those errors. All right, next we have cost by category lines G and H other. We ask that you please ensure that you specify the type of cost in the line. So you can actually go in and edit out. It says specify the cost here. You can actually remove that and put what the cost is. Or if needed, you can put those specifications in the body of the email sent to the contract admin when you're submitting it for payment. If you put it into the body of the email, that will be forwarded and will be notated on there. So any notes that you put in there like that, definitely follow the invoice. So feel free to do that as well. More common errors that we see are forgetting essential components. Please ensure that the invoice is completed in its entirety. Many invoices are returned due to missing information, such as the support service documentation if support services are issued, the number of service encounters, information such as that. Any of those missing from the invoice when it's submitted will cause it to be sent back and cause delay of payment and processing. Another error that we see from time to time is not billing at appropriate rates if you have a fixed or tiered payment contract. So if you have for fixed or tiered payment rates, please ensure that you're billing for program and admin at the approved rates. We do know the last month there typically is a little bit of variance, shifting a few cents from program to admin or vice versa, so that you completely get paid out in your full contracted amount. So just be sure that you're following that to prevent payment errors or underages, overages, things of that nature. And please know that support services are typically not included in the fixed rate amount. So your support services are in addition to your fixed rate or your tiered rate. More common errors that we see are billing for contracted services not in the business plan. The highlighted rows on the invoice are those contracted services found in the business plan. If a contracted service is not found on the business plan, then a contractor cannot bill for that item. If a contractor would like to add a contracted service, please contact your local ODHS contract administrator. Okay, any questions up to this point? Any questions about errors, or any of the changes or updates to the invoice template? You can raise your hand, put it in the chat. I'm not seeing anything come through. So we will continue on. All right, remember, please review your invoice and ensure you have filled it out to the best of your ability. When you submit an invoice for payment, you are attesting that it is correct and accurate. Changes made after payment may cause delays in further invoicing. And additionally, invoices are due the 45th day after the close of the month. So the July 2026 invoice, for example, is due September 15th, 2026. As this year is the second year of the biennium, it will be important to ensure invoices are turned in timely. June 2027 invoices are due by July 31st due to the federal funding books closing at the end of the biennium. Any late submissions after July 31st may not be paid due to this. Please let us know if you have any questions regarding invoicing or due dates. And it is really important to make sure you get your invoices in on time so that we can track the budget accordingly. Okay, so the 2026-2027 invoice templates are coming soon. We've been in the process of sending them out. They are created by the end of the week, and we are sending them out. We've had some issues, but they should all be out the by the end of this week. Please review them for accuracy once you have received them from your ODHS contract administrator. All right, do we have any questions? Any questions at all? Susan?
Hi. Sorry, I was about to put it in the chat, but I was under the impression that the number of services provided every month was already a unique count, that we could only count one service count per person each month.
So the number of services provided or the number of service encounters provided, you can have it's for every 30 minutes of contracted service provided. It can be to
Right.
the same individual, and if you do that work, and let's say you meet with an individual one week and you provide a contracted service, and then the next week they come back and you provide another contracted service, that would be two service encounters provided, as long as they fit the definition and they're at least the duration of 30 minutes. Again, and they meet the definition. The number of unique individuals, though, that would only be one because there was one individual, even though they had two number of service encounters provided. Does that make sense? That's the
Yes.
differentiating factor
So,
of those two.
so we can count multiple encounters for one person.
As long as they meet the definition of an
Okay.
encounter, and then
Okay.
that's for billing purposes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Kane, if there's anything you'd like to add, please feel free to do so.
No, the only thing to add is with any of these questions with invoicing, I know there's always the potential for things to kind of get in the weeds or be specific, depending on certain things. So just want to throw out the invitation that if you're kind of stewing on something or if you want to discuss further, like Susan, feel free to reach out to Teresa or D15 folks and we can help clarify further.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Jess.
Oh, yes. Hi. I wasn't sure if my name was actually there. I was like, oh, sorry. Yes. Can you please repeat the date? So the June 30th, 2027 invoice you said is due July 15th, 2027?
July 31st.
July 31st. Okay. I mean, I realize
Yeah.
it's a whole year away, but I just wanted to make sure I had that.
Yeah, the June, rather than being due on August 15th, it's due July 31st. And again, that's due to the the federal funding books closing as they close out the biennium. And so funding availability is subject to those books closing. And so that's why we require that the invoices be submitted by July 31st at the end of the biennium so that we have enough time to make sure that they get processed and paid out accordingly.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to clarify that.
Absolutely. And it is located on the invoice too. If you look on the invoice template, it has the due dates at the top. So you can see that on each individual month's invoice. So the June will say July 31st. And that's on each of the invoices themselves as well.
Okay. I am brand new to this invoicing, so I have not even done one yet or seen the template. So thank you.
Not a problem whatsoever. And if you do need any assistance, Jess, yeah, please reach out to your contract admin. They would be happy to assist you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Absolutely. Anne.
Maybe I'm missing something, but do we have the new 26-27 invoice template already? The Excel sheet?
We are currently in the process of sending them out, making corrections, and so they will be sent out to the contract admin at the districts. After their review and finalization, they will send it to each of the contractors. And like I said, hopefully by the end of this week, all the contract admin will have reviewed them and been able to disseminate them to each of the individual contractors. And so that's what we're hoping for, is that that you will have them after review from the contract admin.
Okay, I was pulling up an invoice just to check instead of going off of memory. But Tracy's question in the chat, are the due dates on the invoice?
Yes.
Right, and as you answered, mine came up. I think we have them on each month, right? It says at the top in a purple box, the due date for this invoice is this date.
Yes, it does. Absolutely. All right. Are there any other questions, comments? All right. Going once, going twice. Oh, one.
Hello. All right. Here's my light here. Put my face so you can see me. Okay. So here's my question. It's the same question from the last time. I'm hoping to get an answer from it. So a scenario. You are my participant. You have TANF, and the only way, because of your finances, the only way you can communicate is via text message. Now, the way I reach out to the participant, the questions I ask about the academic endeavors the person have, and then the DHS questions that I'm asking follow to that. Let's say that it takes me 3 days to get an answer from all those questions. When I set the report, do I put one encounter, 30 minutes? Do I put no encounter, even though it was a 3 days text message conversation to get a report for the month, for the observation? How do you go about that? That's my question. Thank you.
Is that, I guess, a follow-up question, JC, is it common for you to only be engaging with referred participants via text? Like their only means of communication for direct service with you?
I have all kinds of ways to communicate with people, depending on their facilities they have. I try to accommodate because of their financial means,
Sure.
So sometimes, if they text, it's because they were able to get some kind of Wi-Fi somewhere, they are homeless, and then they can reply back because they got Wi-Fi signal. And, it's a huge obstacle. I get it. But, in the intention of trying to help them,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
And then when I said the report, how do you want me to put on the time is my question.
Yeah, and thanks for the answer. And it's the question we, have been getting, I think, from everybody, right? Contractors, about just the reality of text message being a common way of communicating, if that's the only way or just a preferred way. And the thinking with having the 30 minutes of direct services is the goal of the program, of actually having that the direct dedicated time of the 30 minutes. So our definition has been that the text messages wouldn't be something that would add up to that. But I know that the question coming up last session and then again now today, I think, is something that we want to discuss as far as like what the definition of the direct service could be, not for this current year, but potentially for the next biennium. So it definitely raises some questions for us, some good points of conversation. But at this point, for the current invoice, adding up the text messages, the amount of time and calculation, that wouldn't be something that goes towards the 30-minute threshold for invoicing.
Thank you.
Jess asked, how would I or we find out who our contract admin contact is?
Jess, what
Yeah.
what district are you in, or where are you located?
I am with Family Tree, and we are in Lynn County.
She's District 4.
Okay.
Oh, District 4. Thank you.
District 4, yeah, Lynn County.
Whoever that
was. Yeah, you would
about
your
that.
contact administrator is Stephen March. I'd be happy to
Okay.
reach out to him and make that connection if you haven't been able to yet.
I actually, now that you're saying that, I do know that, and I have his email address. So thank you.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry about that.
All right. Any other questions? Anything else to wrap up? All right. Well, since there's nothing else in the chat or questions coming up, if you do have further questions, as stated, please contact your local ODHS contract administrator, and they would be able to assist in answering those questions. So please feel free to do so. They're here to help. We're here to help, and are grateful for the opportunity to be able to help. And so with that, I will give you the gift of time. And thank you very much for attending this final session of the TANF Jobs Invoice updates. And we look forward to working with you through this next state year, through the close of the biennium. If there's anything you need, please feel free to reach out. That's why we're here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Take care.
All right. Thank you, Kane.
Yeah, nice work, Kevin. Thank you. I
Yeah.
saw JC raised his hand, so I was hanging out to see if he was hanging out
Yeah,
too.
I saw that. I saw that too. So I was gonna. That's why I kind of hung around too. But I think he's already dropped off. So if
Yeah.
anything, he'll probably email, and that's okay.
Right. I might pop him up just to kind of see if he has other thoughts. But otherwise, I think we're good.
All right. Yeah. Take it easy.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Bye.